Very quickly, I'm going to look at the topography. In this case, using an image from International Space Station, so NASA. So this is from outer space. And so what we can see, though, clearly is the differences in terms of landforms and topography. And so what we've got, although you can't clearly see it, is a rugged chain of mountains that comes right through here called the Coast Range of Oregon and Washington. They also come up here. We have the Olympic Mountains, which you can see here. They're so tall in which they actually have snow-capped mountains. And together kind of have the Vancouver Island. All this is kind of this outward edge. These aren't really big mountains. These are smaller mountains. Now the big mountains are over here to the east. And that's the Cascade Mountains that we find here. And so these are bigger. Also, we're going to find actually active volcanic activity. So we also have young developing mountains. And so when we think about how do mountains form, what do they look like? Well, this is them in action. And so I'll talk more about these specific active volcanoes and how they can maybe be a problem to this particular area going forward. But the Cascade Ranges, they continue up to form the Coast Mountains. So essentially what we have is we have these two parallel mountain ranges. We have the Coast Mountains in Canada, then lumped together with the Cascade Mountains, and then we have an in-between area, and then we have the Coast Mountains, the Coast Range right through here of Oregon and Washington. In between is this lowland area, is this trough. Essentially, this trough was created as the plates were converging, and so essentially as the Cascade Mountains have formed, we get some sinking going on. It's essentially the best way to think of it. And so we have this lowland trough area that goes really all the way from Vancouver, actually goes way up to Alaska, then continues on all the way down here to Eugene, Oregon. So all of this is a low-lying area. Very important, as we'll talk about this low-lying area throughout the rest of this particular section. Finally, the last key trend is as you go north in the Pacific Northwest, the mountains typically get bigger. So as you go north, you get really, really big mountains as you go way up here into Canada. But so you could also say as you go east, the mountains get bigger too, because once again, we have these smaller mountains that go parallel to the Pacific called the Coast Range. Comparatively, we have the bigger mountains, the Cascades and the Coast Mountains farther inland.